What's going on, internet? I am the Mass Man, and in this video, I want to talk about the rapper Meek Mill. Meek Mill is at it again, and this time he went after the king of the trolls, 50 Cent. Now, Meek Mill over 2015 and now coming into 2016 has been taking a massive amount of losses in the game. He went at Drake, and then from the Drake situation, he also went at Wale, he went at AR um, and I think he went after a few other people. Basically, Meek Mill has just been going off on any and everybody who does something that he doesn't like or says something that he has a problem with. He opens up his mouth, or rather he uses his Twitter fingers and gets to slandering them or gets to having some kind of beef with them. And now he's going after 50 Cent. I recently heard about the situation through the Breakfast Club. They did a video on it. I'll leave it in the description. And I just want to say to Meek Mill, or use Meek Mill as an example, is sometimes you just have to know how to win. Sometimes you have to know how to win, because Meek Mill was doing incredibly well. He was very successful, and I guess the personality that he always had and the character that he always had started to show after he became successful. He didn't switch up his personality. He didn't switch up his character when he recognized that he was winning. A lot of times, people who get beat down in their life, or people who came from an environment where they had a lot of struggle, where they had a lot of problems, they'll kind of feel like the world is picking on them, and justifiably so. And they'll see every little thing that people do. There'll be an oversensitivity to the actions of others, particularly if you come from a violent environment. If you come from a place that has a lot of violence, that sensitivity can mean life or death. So maybe Meek Mill's personality was a survival mechanism for him growing up in Philadelphia. But now that he is successful, he is an established artist, he is a man that gets paid a decent amount of money to do what he does for a living. You're no longer in a life where you have to take everything so personally, where every, body who says something about you has to be checked. Because if you are going to check somebody, you better make sure that you're writing a check that your ass can cash, because everybody that you said something about has lit your ass on fire, and 50 Cent, the king of trolls, was no different. This nigga actually tapped out of the argument on Twitter when 50 mentioned the situation of Meek Mill going into court and claiming he's not a gangster. It takes away from your image. It takes away from your persona when you keep getting humbled as a man for the world to see. When you keep getting embarrassed by people, and you're some kind of so-called gangster, and people keep making you look stupid. They said it in the Breakfast Club interview, and I agree with them, that he should have some type of team around him that prevents him from doing stupid stuff. It's like, I just feel that Meek Mill is not qualified to play the dozens. It's like that's not everybody's personality. Some people are not good, at having a back and forth with people. They're not good, at telling jokes and going joke for joke, going bar for bar with people. That's not their skill set. That's not what they do. I'm not a person who can do that. I'm not good at, coming up with a bunch of jokes, to throw at people. So I don't insult people because I couldn't go back and forth with them. So I don't do that. I just deal with people straight up and down because I don't have that ability to be funny like that. So Meek Mill clearly does not have that ability to have an entertaining, compelling back and forth with somebody. That's not in his repertoire. That's not what he's good at. So if you're not good at something, you need to stop doing it because it's hurting your career. I know it should be about just music. It should be about the music and it should be about what you bring. But your image is a part of why people like your music. That people believe that you're real, that people believe that you're street. That's part of what you do. Now, Meek Mill is not a trap rapper, but he is in gangster rap. He is in that school. He's more than a trap rapper, but he's in that Young Jeezy, Rick Ross school of rap. He does shit like that, kind of like, gangster rap. So if you a gangster who keeps getting your ass whooped, that makes people not take your music and your craft that seriously because you can say the best shit, but you're taking people out of the movie. If this is a movie, in every movie there is a term that gets thrown around that people like to go by, that people, tell you an instruction for watching a film, for reading a fictional book, a brief instruction. Suspend your disbelief. We all know that anything being presented to us is a form of entertainment. And even if it's supposed to be 100% true and 100% accurate, it can still have inconsistencies and it can still be done in such a way that is made for entertaining or entertainment value, to punch it up, to make it more interesting. So we have to suspend disbelief when we listen to music or when we listen to poetry or when we listen to whatever. We have to suspend disbelief so that we can enjoy what we're listening to, so that we can enjoy what we're watching, so that we can be entertained. Because if we didn't suspend disbelief, we wouldn't be able to enjoy or appreciate any form of entertainment because we'd always be questioning it. Having trouble talking. Nigga need a dental plan. We'd always be questioning it. So Meek Mill is making it very hard to suspend disbelief because he keeps taking real world L's that take away from his music and his persona as a rapper. It keeps taking away from that. He keeps losing, and it doesn't look good to keep taking losses. The best he ever did at going back and forth with niggas was Cassidy. That's the best he ever did. He should have stopped right there. He peaked after Cassidy, but everybody else has made this nigga look like a fool. This is not what you do. This is not your lane. This is not the skill set that you provide. You are not that type of nigga. You are not the joke telling nigga. You are not the clever, witty, nigga. You're not that dude. So stop getting in these situations. Stop calling niggas out that you can't handle, because this ain't the streets. This ain't if you can blow holes through their chest. This is a battle of wits, and you don't have any. You need to rhyme, Go to your shows, do your interviews, and go home. You need to get rid of your Twitter account, or you only need to use your Twitter account to let people know what concerts you're going to be in, what cities you're going to be in, what concerts you have coming up, what albums you have dropping. It needs to be updates only. Nothing but updates about your business. Nothing else. So that's my little advice to Meek Mill. You know, I don't want to see a black man lose. I don't feel that Meek Mill is a bad guy. I just feel that Meek Mill is either a hood nigga that's kind of got PTSD. Um, he's just had so much trauma in his life that he hasn't, switched over and recognized that he's not in that environment anymore. Or he's just an extremely emotional nigga who goes off the handle at anything. Emotional men exist. Real gangster ass niggas who will beat your ass. All man can be extremely, extremely emotional, like a female crazy on her period emotional. Men can. Heterosexual gangster ass men can be really, really emotional. It's a real thing. If you know real people, you know that this is a thing. So maybe he's just an emotional ass nigga who takes everything too personally. Well, that's fine. Don't let it wreck your career. Save that shit for your personal life. Save that shit for what you do offline. That's what I have to say. I want to see Meek Mill win, so somebody get in his ear and tell that nigga to move better. Tell him to not pick fights with 50 fucking Cent of all people, because he's going to end your career. He may have taken an L to Rick Ross, as far as having to pay that nigga some money, but he made that nigga look pretty goddamn stupid, all the way. He just paid for it. You not gonna I'm sure he's looking to make up that loss, and you on the same label, you affiliated with the same clique. You don't want it with 50, because he ain't never gonna leave you alone. He's not ever gonna get off of your neck. That motherfucker will end your career. You is too emotional and too unskilled at that shit. You ain't gonna have nothing left if you make 50 Cent a nigga that wanna fuck you up, nigga. So that's what I have to say about the Meek Mill going off on 50. You can watch the Breakfast Club interview. I know I didn't say what precipitated the whole thing, but 50 was making jokes about the back-to-back situation, just telling the truth, and Meek Mill got upset that 50 mentioned the back-to-back situation. So that's why Meek Mill wanted to go after 50 Cent. Anyway, leave comments. Let me know what you think about the situation. Rate the video, like it, dislike it, be honest. Subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with the videos that I'm making. If there's any subject that you want me to cover, you can leave me an email at themrmaskman@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter and find me on Facebook at themrmaskman. That is all I have to say about this subject. So I will see you in the next video.